Hey everybody, this is Suze from Revelation Quilts. I have a super fun new project for you today. This one is called Spinning Roads, and it is so easy and it is so fun, and I can't wait to show you what it's all about. It takes 2 charm packs and some of those mini charm squares, some black and some white, but you're welcome to use whatever colors you like. So let's get started. I can't wait. It's super fun. So for this project, we are going to use 2 charm packs of the Superior Solids from Venartex. And then I have got these mini charm squares, one in kind of it's called Snow is the name of the color, and the other one is black. These are 2.5-inch squares that you can purchase in a little pack, or you can just cut your own from yardage or from a charm pack. If you have a charm pack of white or light and a charm pack of black, you can just cut those into fourths. So let's get started on this. So this charm pack has got all kinds of colors in it. So this is going to make for a very colorful quilt. So let's get this opened up. And we are going to take all of our charm squares and we are going to cut them into 1.5-inch strips. Lots of good colors in there. So I can cut 4 or 5 at a time, and they're all going to be cut the same. So I'm just going to grab some. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 5 in here. The first thing we're going to do is we don't like these pinked edges. Or I should say I don't like these pinked edges. So I'm just going to take about 1/4 inch and I'm going to cut off those pinked edges. Get rid of that. And so we're going to cut this into 3 1.5-inch strips. So I've got piles of these 1.5-inch strips, and you're going to cut up your entire charm pack just like that. And then we're going to grab a bag or a box or something where you can just throw all of those strips into them. So here I've got all the strips from this charm pack that I cut, and you're going to be doing 2 charm packs worth of these, because I put them in here because I want to put them together in a random way. And so I'm just going to blindly come in and grab different colors, so I never know what colors are going to be together. So let's go over the sewing machine and I will show you how I am going to use these. So here we are at the sewing machine. I'm just going to put my hands in here and I'm going to grab 4 random pieces. And let's just start sewing them together. We're going to sew them. We're going to make a strip set with these. So I'm going to grab 2. And with solid colors like this, if you can't tell the right or wrong side, then it really does not matter. So we're going to sew 1/4 inch down each strip to make a strip set of 4. And I'm just going to finger press these all the same direction. and you can just put them together in a random way, or if that would drive you nuts, you can put them together however you would like. Some people have a hard time with random. And the last one for this strip set, just line up your top edges and there you have your strip set. And I'm just going to press these all to one side. So you're going to do this to your whole charm pack, to all of the strips that you cut. So just sew away until you've got them all grouped together in 4 random colors. And that is the first part. So now I have a bunch of these in all the random colors, and just with any strip set, if you want them to be square, you have to measure how tall they are and then cut that in the width. So these are about 4 1/4 inches tall, and so I want to cut them 4 1/4 wide, and then I will have a square. So let's see, 4 1/4. And so there I have my square. So cut all of them so that they are square. Just measure the height, and then that's how wide you're going to cut them. So do that to all of them, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So I've got all of my squares trimmed up, and so far I just love them because there's all these different random color combinations, and they're turning out so cute. It's going to be so cute in the quilt. So what you want to do is put these in 2 separate equal piles, half on one side, half on the other side, because in the quilt, half of them will be going horizontally and the other half will be vertical. So you want to have a vertical pile and a horizontal pile, and that will be really important in our next step when we add our little 2 1/2 inch squares. So grab one of your piles, and we'll save the other one for later, and bring your black and your white over to your sewing machine, and I'll show you what we are going to do next. So the next step, we're going to do something that is called snowballing, and there's a couple different ways to do this. Probably the easiest way is to take a ruler and draw a line from corner to corner on your 2 1/2 inch squares, and just draw a light pencil line so that you can see, and then do that to 2 of them. You're actually going to be using 2 white squares and 2 dark squares for each block. And so just draw a little pencil line from corner to corner, and on the black fabric you can use a chalk pencil or something that will show up on the dark fabric. And we're just going to take our square, which is going to be the stripes going horizontally, and you're going to put the square in the upper left hand corner, and then you're just going to sew right along that line that you drew. And so I'm just going to put this in there, and then I'm just going to sew right down that line from corner to corner. So that I've got a seam right down there, and then we're just going to take this and fold it right over and just press it down like this. And so it's going to look like that. Now, in order to get rid of some of the bulk, we're going to cut off this bottom part about 1/4 inch from the seam line so it's not so bulky. And then when we turn that over like that, we will have a white corner. And we're going to do the same thing in the opposite corner. Just line that up with the corner of the block, like so, and just sew right down that pencil line that you drew. Let me get it. There we go. So that when you fold it over, the block should be the same size. And then we're just going to cut off that extra in the back, 1/4 inch from the seam that you just sewn. So there you have it. Your 2 corner blocks are white. Now what we're going to do is take the same, we're going to do the same thing with 2 of the black squares, and we're going to put those in the opposite corners. And some people like to draw the lines, some people like to eyeball it. I like to use this diagonal seam tape on my machine. It's just tape that you buy, and it just gives a straight line from your needle to the end of the machine. And that's what I like to use. And I'm going to show you how I use that right now. And you can buy this. I bought mine online, but I know that you can get it from Amazon, Missouri Star. And so I'm just going to start at the tip with my needle, and at the bottom where this bottom corner meets, I'm going to line that up with the line on my diagonal seam tape so that I know that when I sew, if I keep that bottom corner right along that center line of my diagonal seam tape, that I will get it perfect every time. So there's that line, and I'm just going to cut off the excess. And then one more in the final corner. Okay. And so that is what my block is going to look like. So all of these, the stripes on all of these blocks are going to have a horizontal orientation. And so make sure that on these blocks you are always putting the white in the top left and the bottom right corner, and the black in the bottom left and the top right corner. So that when we do our other blocks, the other ones, you're going to have those in a vertical orientation. We are going to, it's going to be the opposite. You're still going to do these in the top left and the bottom right, but instead of your block going this way, it's going to go this way. So half of them will be horizontal and half of them will be vertical. And so just make sure that you're paying attention. So that's why I like to do all of the vertical ones, or I'm sorry, all the horizontal ones first. And then when I'm done with those, then I can do all of the vertical ones. So in the vertical ones, it will be the opposite. So now in order to square these up, it's actually quite easy because we are going to square them up to 4 inches. So what you want to do is take your, look for your 2-inch line on your ruler both ways, and you're just going to line up your 2 inches to where these snowballed edges meet. So the corners of these snowball edges And the 2-inch line here will meet up right on that center seam. And then you're just going to cut the edges like so, and then you'll just turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. So take your 2 inches and line it up so that it lines up with the corners and that center seam, and then you will have a perfect 4-inch block. And then so half of the blocks will the orientation of the white and black corners are the same. The only difference is that on some of the blocks the stripes will be going crossways, and on some of the blocks the stripes will be going up and down. So when you put those two together, it will create a pinwheel or a diamond of the black and white squares. And so I'll bring a few more down to show you what that looks like. So when you put them together, you're going to be creating this diamond in the middle, and that's how it works. So when you sew the corners on the first half of them, you're going to have the orientation of the stripes going one way, and then when you do the second one, you'll start with the orientation of the stripes going the opposite way, and that's how you end up with your black and white meeting in the corners like that. So these are all the blocks I made, put up on the design wall. I didn't have enough to make another row. I had 7 left over, so I'm going to take 6 of them and put them in opposite corners, one in the top left and one in the 3 in the top left and 3 in the bottom right, and I'm going to incorporate those into the border. And so as you can see, every other one goes, the stripes go up and down, and on the opposite ones they go horizontal. And so this is how I'm going to put it together. I'm just going to sew the main body of the quilt, the blocks, together, and then I'm going to incorporate those extra 6 into the border on the corners. And that last one, that one in the bottom center, that's just an orphan block. That's a leftover one that I'm going to use for an orphan quilt that I'll make. I take all of my leftover blocks from quilts that don't fit into quilts, and I put them all in a bag, and I'm going to make a big old orphan quilt with all those leftover blocks. So let me get this put together, and then we'll take a look and see how it looks. So here's the final version of this quilt with the borders on. As you can see in the top left corner and the bottom right corner, I've added those 6 extra blocks, 3 on each corner, and I incorporated that with a black border. And then I put another black border that is smaller, it's a 2-inch border, around the entire thing. And so it really creates kind of a cool optical illusion in those corners. The final quilt measures 34.5 by 38. It is very small, so it's going to be a wall hanging for my home. But if you want it to be bigger, just keep adding charm packs. So this used 2 charm packs, and it also used about 64 of each of the white and the black 2.5-inch squares. So it was super fun to make, and I think that the final result is very striking. So if you want to try this on your own, I would encourage you to do so and just have fun with it. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe and all those awesome things. And I hope that you enjoyed this. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.